Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, and yeah, again, if you've been enjoying these videos, make sure to hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. But in this video, in the previous video, we set up everything locally. So we got Dremio, we got Minio, we got Superset, all running on our laptop to kind of create a lakehouse dashboard environment where we can easily curate data and then deliver to dashboards. So in this case, what we want to do first is add some data to our Dremio cluster. Okay, I got these two sample SQL statements here to kind of create a data set for that. Again, you'll find that in the repo in the video description, okay, on YouTube. So again, you can find the video on YouTube if you're watching this elsewhere, youtube.com/@AlexMercedData. But yes, so what we're going to do is in our Nessie catalog, we're going to create a folder. I'm going to create a folder called data, just because why not? Okay, and what we're going to do is head over to our SQL runner. And first we're going to run the create table statement. So again, the create table statement will create our table. Pretty obvious. Okay, so I'm going to click here. I'm going to set our context. Again, the idea is where do I want this query to run, so that way I don't have to type out the whole name. So I want it to run in this data folder. So I'm going to select that, put the create query, and just run create table. Okay, and that table has been created. That was pretty fast. Okay, and now I'm going to run the insert statement. Okay, we're just going to insert some records. Okay, again, it's a small table. The idea here, I don't know how powerful your laptop is, so this way, regardless of how powerful your laptop is, the data set isn't so big that it's going to cause any issues to be running all this stuff. Okay, so we're going to insert all those records, and then we have 10 records in there. Perfect. Okay, so now that we've established that, what we have to do is we have to go to Superset and add that data set. So we have the connection to Dremio, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the data set is available. So you're going to click over here on Datasets. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add a data set. So here you have a bunch of sample data sets that come from the SQL database, the SQLite database that's on the container for practice. You can use those, but we're going to add our Dremio data set so we can kind of see how all this works in action. Okay. So in here, we see three fields. Database is going to be your source. So in this case, my Dremio source. And now the schema is going to show you sort of like the different locations where there's tables. So in this case, I'm looking for that warehouse.data because that's where I have that table. And then we'll see the tables that are under that namespace. And that's going to be orders. Awesome. Okay, pretty straightforward. Okay, and then you can see all the fields that we have there. Okay, so then once I create the data set, I can begin creating a chart. Okay. Now, from there, I can create all sorts of different types of charts. Okay, as you can see here, let's create a line chart. Okay, so I'll click on, and again, you can also do all sorts of kind of stuff here. But basically, we choose our chart, and I'm going to click Create New Chart. Okay, and now I'm beginning to build a dashboard. So I can go over here, and I can add a name to this. So we're going to say, hey, orders dashboard. Okay, and basically first thing we have to do is we have to choose an x-axis. Okay, and then here we can see some functions we can run. But in this case, I want to take a look at order date as the x-axis. So we're going to take a look at, something over time. Okay, perfect for like a line chart. And now let's see here. We can take a look at let's take a look at the total price. Okay. And the idea is, do I want to take a look at the sum, the average? So I can go in here, I can choose different ways I want to look at that total price. I'm just going to use the sum. Then we hit save. And that's pretty much all you have to do to create a dashboard. So now I can click create chart. And I'm going to get a chart, which just might take a moment. There it goes. So pull the data. There we go. Okay. Again, it's running on my laptop, so it's not going to run as fast if I were running a full-blown cluster. But you see, what it actually did is that it sent a query over to Dremio, so it sent the request for that data to Dremio. So I can go over here, click on the jobs page, and actually I can see the request for the data here. Okay, and I can see the query that it ran. Okay, so this is the query that it ran from that. Yeah, that works. So basically the idea is that Dremio allows me to kind of connect all sorts of different data sources, including data lakes, data warehouses, databases, and be able to deliver that data directly to the BI dashboard tool. Okay, this is particularly useful for data lakes because, again, data lakes don't naturally have their own compute. Okay, so generally when you have a database data warehouse, they generally have their own software for querying that. So you can connect directly to the database or data warehouse, and it has a software built into the database to go in there and like search the data. But when you just have like arbitrary CSV files, Parquet files, JSON files sitting on a data lake, Dremio really provides that layer where you can connect that data and deliver it to a dashboard without you having to go copy it into a database or a data warehouse. Okay, so that's part of what's really cool there. Okay, and again here I can go see like sort of places how the query breaks down and all this stuff. Okay, neat. Okay, and again, and then I can go in here and just start kind of playing with what I want that chart to say. So it just depends on sort of what kind of information you're trying to deliver. But I can go here and choose like different dimensions. Okay, so maybe I want to say, hey, what's the total price by payment method? Okay, so now I update the chart. It's going to go send that query over. Okay, again, not much data on the chart, so you're going to get sort of some weird aspects like this. So again, looks like most people paid by credit card, so you don't really see anything else in there. But they theoretically, like you would show you a few lines for PayPal, credit card, debit card, cash on card, and you'd see over time sort of like the total sales per type. Okay, so that gives you like basically the dimension is going to essentially be what the group by is. Okay, and the cool thing is, like, let's say you were dealing with a huge data set, okay, and you wanted to speed it up. Dremio has a really unique feature called data reflections. Okay, so I could go over here, find that particular data set, orders, okay, and actually I want to do it. I want to access it from over here. Click over here, data, okay, and then right over here you'll find this like little gear option. Okay, and we see the data set. Actually, what I'd want to do is before I can do what I want to do, I need to save a view. So, because I'm using Dremio software, so in that case, what I would do is I would save this as a view. Okay, and we'll save that in my home space. So we'll just call it orders view. And theoretically, that's what you would do with Dremio. You would go with Dremio and you would curate what's called spaces here. Okay, in Dremio Cloud, there are Arctic catalogs, which are pretty much Nessie catalogs, just with a bunch of extra bells and whistles that are pretty cool, actually. But you would create spaces. So I would sit here and let's say do marketing, accounting, and I would take all these data sources that I have and curate views in here. So in this case, I might have orders in sales or something like that. But in this case, when you have a view, I can click this little pen icon, and that's going to take me to this screen right here. And from this screen, I can turn on a feature called reflections. So I can go over here and choose to, well, it's determining what I want to do there. But I can see here in aggregation reflections, I can choose different dimensions. So in this case, if I'm going to be doing BI dashboards based on the payment type, so let me just look up payment method, I could put that over here, and then I can put like the different measurements or the different things I want to measure by product method, put them in this column, and what this will do is it'll pre-compute a lot of that, so that way when I run that dashboard, it's going to run it faster. Okay, I'm not going to run this now. It's a really small data set, so it's not going to make too much of a difference. But for really large data sets, this can provide even more speed. So that way, when you, again, have data sets on your data lake, which is mainly a storage mechanism, okay, you're able to run really fast on that data without necessarily having to move it to a data warehouse database, meaning, hey, that's just less data you have to move, less data you have to duplicate, less costs. Okay, so that is where like these aggregate reflections specifically, because again they're running those they're pre-computing those aggregate calculations, come in real handy. So again, when you're using Dremio to power your BI dashboards, it's pretty powerful. Okay, but again, you would create your dashboards here on Superset. Okay, so then over here we can go see our different dashboards, and then again you have lots of things you can do. You can put like different limits. So if you want to create like a series data, how you want to sort the data, if you want to limit how many rows, all sorts of different places where how you can update the chart. Now let's see, let me hit save. Yep, sure, save, and then you can create dashboards with multiple charts. So I don't really have any dashboards right now, so we'll just save this as that. Okay, so that creates our first chart. Now what I can do is I can go create a new dashboard. Okay. Okay, and then what I can do is I can take charts that already exist. So in this case, this is the only chart that I have that exists, and I can put that right here. Okay, and then what I can do is after I create all the different charts that I need to show all the different pieces of information that I want to show, I would just put them here and then organize it how I'd like. Okay, and then I can save this, and this would become a dashboard. Okay, so this dashboard was saved successfully, which is right now untitled. Okay, and now what I can do is I can download it as an image if I just want to send someone a picture. I can go set auto refresh interval, so that way every once in a while it's going to go back to Dremio, get all the updated information, update this. Okay, and then I can share it. Okay, so basically, again, if I had this deployed on its own cluster, I could copy a link to this dashboard and share it with people, in by different ways. And that's essentially how you could use this to share data within a company. Okay, so again, basically the mode here. Okay, and again, here's just so you can do some more SQL, but really you want Dremio to handle all the SQL because Dremio is going to have the power to do that. It's going to be able to just deliver that data much better, and you're going to want this to kind of deliver the visual. So essentially, that's all there really is to it. Again, once you have it all set up, it's just a matter of add the connection. Once you add the database connection, then we add the data sets we want to create data from. Then we build charts from those data sets, and then we add those charts into a dashboard. And then we share that dashboard with other people. And that's, now again, that sounds easy enough. Always the tough question is sort of what is the right data to show? Because if you put too many charts, that can confuse people. There's just too much information. You put too few charts, it may not be enough information to get the full context. You put the wrong charts, people may get the information that's not answering the questions that they have. So a lot of the things you have to do in the analytics space technologically wise oftentimes aren't too difficult as far as like, hey, typing up some code and whatnot. The difficult part is really thinking through what is the data, what is it that I want from the data, and why does the data matter to be able to get the right visuals, to run the right queries that are going to illuminate what you're trying to illuminate. And for that, it just requires practice and getting familiar with the particular data sets that you're working with, the particular questions that the people who you're delivering these dashboards are for. So sitting down and asking them sort of like, what is the problem they're trying to solve? And one, making sure that they are asking the right questions, making sure you understand the questions that they do have. And then once you kind of get that laid out, then it's just a matter of sort of like then working backwards from there to deliver the data. But just saying, hey, I got to ask for a dashboard without doing some more contextual deep dives with your stakeholders can oftentimes lead to, hey, you built the wrong thing, or you didn't build a thing that really moved everyone forward because no one was asking each other questions and there wasn't that communication. So communication and then spending that extra time to kind of understand the context of what you're doing is going to help you better in the execution. So yeah, that was it. So this was a quick video series. My name is Alex Merced, but now you have the tools. So again, if you want, there's the sample data sets, try to create a bunch of charts and create some dashboards that illustrate something, have some fun with it. But my name is Alex Merced. I'll see you all later.